day I've been thinking, I want you to be happier, I want you to be happier. When the morning comes and we see what we've become, in the cold light of day we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun.
Hello, I am Geoffrey Underwood. I teach at Shudrint High School in Lincoln Parish. I teach civics and AP Human Geography to 9th and 10th graders. Today's lesson is a civics lesson on the legislative branch, which we will be working on how a bill becomes a law according to the state standards for civics, which state that the students need to know these steps of how a bill becomes a law. Today's lesson is a little bit different. We replace our bills with rules for the school, and the students must be able to pass those rules. On the day before, they take a couple of ideas that they have would be good rules for our school, and they poll the classmates and see which ones would be the best, and they take which was either what they thought was the best or the most popular and bring it to class today to be able to present and get passed as their bill through the House and the Senate, which would be their fellow classmates, and hopefully signed by the president, who is me. This lesson we divide into groups, and they have to, and this is my honors group, so that we let them pick their own groups. In other classes, we pair groups up with weaker and stronger students. Every class has a chat chart, which we use to help to keep the conversation moving. It has suggestions for questions they can ask, and also reminds them to stop and listen to the conversations that are going on. I appreciate you watching. I hope you find it enjoyable. This is one of my students' favorite lessons of the year in and year out, and I thank you for watching. All right, let's answer our question first. What's our question? What we got? C, free the slaves in the southern states. Emancipation Proclamation, free the slaves in the southern states. Make sure you keep holding on to those. Y'all done a great job with that so far. All right, you picked up on your way in, you picked up your first snap quiz for this unit. Okay, remember, it is all vocabulary. We want you to guess. We want you to try to answer as many of them as possible. Okay, nothing wrong with correcting answers. That's part of what we're going to do. We'll put some time up here on the clock. We got 2 minutes. We'll stop you there. So now what I want you to take this one, find somebody that you have not swapped with before. Okay, this is the first one, so they may be struggling with answers too, but look at them, see what you think that they got right, and then compare and see what you got similar and what's different. Okay, try to find somebody new that you hadn't used before on a snap quiz. All right, go. We'll go about a minute. Okay, let's see how we did all together. All right, then we got some right answers. Let's see. Number 1 says powers that are written directly in the Constitution. Close. What?
Enumerated powers.
Enumerated. Those are the ones from Section 8 we did earlier this week where we listed them straight out. Well, tell me one. What was one that you remember from those lists we wrote down? They have the power to what?
Congress is able to impose tax.
Yeah, impose taxes. Okay. What? Okay, remember, hold on to those. Those will help you on your vocab quiz later on, and of course help you learn them as well. But there are points for your vocab quiz later on, so do not lose them. So, yesterday we started working on our laws to get past Congress. Okay? So we said what we're going to use, what are we using in place of our laws?
Our rules here at school.
Rules at school, okay? All right, so we took kind of the first step yesterday. Today we're going to look at that whole process. Okay, so I've got a video that y'all are fairly familiar with, but
the Capitol building here in Washington. But I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is. I'm just a bill.
okay, so this was you yesterday. Okay, you had your idea. You brought it to the people around the room. All right, and you wanted to see if your bill would have support from other people than just yourself. So that's the step we've already done, and today we'll take it through the rest of them. So let's.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is take it to the next part of this process. You are becoming representatives and senators. Okay? Anybody can come up with a law. Okay? Just like the people on the video and just like you yesterday. Anybody can come up with an idea. But to get it into Congress, they have to take it to a congressman. So now you're going to flip roles and become that congressman who can also introduce laws. They can come from the president. They can come from a business. They can come from anywhere. But they have to do it. So the sheet that you picked up is your first steps in this is to write down your argument for why you need a law. Why you need your rule or law that we're doing here. Now it could be, in real life I would go to, like Ralph Abraham got elected this week, I would go to him and say, look here, I've got this good idea, here's what we need to try to do. Okay? You want to give it a title. You want something, remember, you may have to sell this. So maybe something a little catchy, but something that identifies what it is. So they know what you're talking about. And then you get into the argument part of this. I told you yesterday, the last thing I told you yesterday was to start thinking about why do we need this bill? And if it costs money, where are we going to get money to pay for it? Those two things are hugely important because to get your bill past me, the president, all right, you got to have some backing for it. Okay, it's got to be realistic. So let's see. I'll give you about 7 minutes to look at that first part. Break down your bill, and remember you're selling it, so you want a couple ideas to back up why you have it. Why do we need this? Okay, so on your own, complete that section. If you got a question, please ask. So what we've got is we've moved through the first step of the people bringing the bill to you. Okay, so now what's going to be our next step in Congress?
Where it started at?
Okay, you're introducing it. Yeah, you got to start it. So we're going to split into the House of Representatives and the Senate. Okay, and then what is the first step once it gets in there?
To get the house to vote on it.
Got one step before that. Let's look at it real quick.
I'm stuck in committee and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be alone.
Alright, so we're now, some of you said it right there, it's committee, whether you're the House of Representatives or Senate. So there's 17 of y'all today, so we're going to have 9 and 8 in our House of Representatives and Senate. Which one should be the House of Representatives? 9. Why? There's more representatives than there are Senate, okay? So you group will be our Senate, y'all are 8, okay? Now your job is that you got to divide your group into 2 groups of 4 for your 2 separate committees, okay? You guys have 9, okay, and you'll split your group and your bill change.
Yes. No.
Ooh, all right, who thinks yes?
Yeah.
All right, who thinks no? That's okay. All right, it can change. Most bills go in one way, and when they come out on the other side of Congress and go to the president, they change, and usually quite a bit. Okay? Your bill may not make it through the whole process, and that's okay too, because most bills don't. Okay, so you want to convince your group. All right, so our House over here, y'all are going to pick 3 groups of 3. Okay, Senate over here, 2 groups of 4. How many do y'all have to get passed? Got to have 3, so you got a little bit more work to do in the committee level. Y'all got more people. Y'all got questions before we get moving. All right, let's go.
About 7 minutes, guys. See if we can get through the committee in about 7.
Okay, we'll vote on your last one. Okay, and y'all get done. Okay, so what is going to be our next step? You're going to go to the whole group. Now, if your bill is lucky enough to make it out of committee, all right, we're going to go to the next step. All right, which he talks about most bills don't make it, and that's okay.
Die? Yeah, die in committee. representatives and they vote on me.
If they vote yes, what happens?
Then I go to the Senate and the whole thing starts all over again.
Oh, no.
All right, so there we are. We made it out of committee. Most of your bills made it. I did notice that we had some similarities and y'all talked about combining them. Okay? So now you're going to present your bill to the entire House and Senate. Okay, that's your next step. And it'll be the same thing. If it votes, it goes through. Keep up with it as it's moving on your sheet, step by step. And then if you get done, you can also go with your writing on the back. You can add to as you go through. Because that'll be what you turn in for your final grade. It'll come off the back of that page as well as what we're doing in class today. Okay, so keep up with both sides as you go through. You'll see that you can answer some of them as you go through if you get done early. So, all right, one at a time over here. Everybody can vote. One at a time over here. Everybody can vote. You can ask questions. All right, let's make our way back to our desks. Okay, and we'll talk about where we're going next. All right, so what you've got is now we've made it to this. How many bills do we have make it get voted on positively in your House and Senate? All of y'all's made it. We had, well, y'all had a big combination though. So beginning of next week, what we will do is you will present to the other side of the room. Okay, if it gets past there, then you present it to me and we'll see how we go. We have a little quiz next week on these steps. So that'll be kind of our focus of, we're going to have just a brief quiz on Wednesday on the steps. So you'll get 2 good grades from this if we do this right. Is one from your sheet and your writings on the back. You're going to have to do all the writings on the back before it's all said and done. And then you will have a little quiz also next week. So this. Hello again. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, the lesson, as much as my kids enjoy this lesson. It's one of their favorite lessons of the year. The next steps in this lesson is they're going to have to take the bill through their next steps. If their bill is in the Senate, it has to go to the House and get passed. And then to get past that, it will be presented to the President, where they have to give their argument of why they need their rule for the school. We have even taken some of these bills and taken them to our principal and let the kids show that, hey, look, you know, these are some ideas the kids have, and they had a lot of support, and, you know, what do you think about these rules and things like that. So the rules are generally things that the kids really care about, like in the cafeteria and the dress code, but they do generally make some really good points about what they think would be good for the school. And our principal's always been very receptive and listened to the different aspects of what's going on. When we go on with this lesson, they'll be tested. We're easily able to see the understanding because they're tested on the order of these events as they would be in Congress. And they also have to write throughout this process. They have to write the steps that they go through, and then why did their bill not get voted through, or why did their bill get voted through, and what could they have done differently next time to be able to get their bill through. What would improve their bill. And then we also ask them about what they think about this process. You know, what could make this process better or more streamlined, and it gives them input of the process and gives them real ownership of this process by making it a rule for the school. If we had a choice, we would do every single step of how this bill becomes a law. But you know, we've only got so much time in class, and we only got so much time for debate and discussion, and then we have to move on. So if I could add something to it, it would be another step or two here, discussing the bills and who gets them, how they get passed. I'd like to thank you once again for watching, and thank you for this opportunity. I hope it's enjoyable.
I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. when the morning comes and we see what we've become. In the cold light of day, we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun. Every argument, every word we can't take back, 'cause with all that has happened, I think that we